All right, everybody, welcome back to Game 3. This is Tom Dolezal against Josh Wittenkeller. They did make it all the way to Game 3. The winner of this game goes on to the top 4. And more importantly to them, gets a free trip to Hawaii.
Yeah, I mean, World's top 8, great accomplishment. But let's be honest, top 4, that's kind of the promised land. That's where you get all your money. You get your trip. You can get maybe one of those number 3 trainer cards, which is worth a lot of money. The semifinalists. Tropical beaches are worth tons of money, so even though the scholarship increase isn't a whole lot, the prize increase is a lot, so there's a lot of pressure on the line for this third game.
And you can definitely see the contrast in attitude here. Tom is really taking the time to soak it in, shuffling very slowly, and Josh is eager to get in there, man. Josh just won his game 2, he's back in it, and I mean, granted, he shuffles like this all the time, but yeah, Josh is ready. And Tom's kind of soaking in the moment.
Yeah, now we're in an interesting spot. I think there's about 15 minutes left in the match, so obviously we're not going to get a full game here, but there's going to be enough to get maybe 5 or 6 turns, and Tom's going to be able to go first. So even though Josh might get the first knockout with Jan Mega, maybe, I don't know, it's going to be close.
Yeah, now I think that this situation really does kind of favor Josh a little bit, just because, I mean, obviously he's going to go second, so that's not favorable, but he does have a fast Jan Mega, and your opponent's fastest Pokemon is a Reshiram that takes 3 energies. So.
And he's starting with the Jirachi, so not the greatest thing in the world, and it looks like Tom starts with Reshiram, Cyndaquil, Vulpix, so he's not even going to need a collector. Not bad.
Attaches a fire and passes. Ideal start, as long as you can get a Ninetales or a Typhlosion on the second turn. Now here, I think this is an understatement. This is really a bad situation for Josh, and he goes for reversal, gets heads, and just probably activates a Vulpix or a Cyndaquil. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah, no, I do like this from Josh. In the previous game, he played a reversal in a similar situation, which I didn't agree with. But here, he understands that time is very low. Every prize is going to count, so he needs to stall and make sure he gets that first prize at any cost. So I agree with this reversal here. Good move, especially because he's going to have to eke, it looks like.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. Obviously, he doesn't even have a Magnemite or a Yanma, so we're not going to see any pressure from him coming in anytime soon. I don't know. Obviously, advantage Tom here.
Well, it could be advantage Tom, depending on his hand. If he doesn't have anything and we see a draw pass, it's going to be advantage Josh, probably. So we're going to see a scrappy game of 3. Maybe Josh will win, maybe Tom will win. Who knows?
All right, well, I guess we'll find out in 15 minutes. We got a Tails on Eek, so he does stay asleep. It's pretty nice, and he does get a Ninetales out, so pretty good. Plus power gets dropped, and he Junipers. So, you were saying?
Well, good start for Tom, but Josh at Cleffa stays asleep, so I don't think Tom will take a prize this turn, which is going to be a big deal. Is he going to get a Typhlosion into play? That'll be the next thing. And
it's 2 Cyndaquils into play, which is great.
Yeah,
I'd like to see at least a Koalapa right now.
Yeah, I don't even know if he has an energy in his hand, which would be very bad.
I think I saw a rare candy in his hand right now, so... and I did see a Typhlosion get discarded from the Juniper. So these are all things to keep in mind.
Right, but he doesn't look like he has an energy, so he won't be able to retreat the Cyndaquil. Now, the thing about Typhlosion is it can get set up, but, well, there's the energy, never mind.
You were saying, sir?
But I was going to say, if it doesn't have any energy, it can't set up. I mean, it can set up, but it won't be able to attack until you get, like, 3 or 4 energy into play and summon your discard. You're really not going anywhere, so you can get all your evolutions out. That's fine. But if you don't have the energy to attack, you're not going anywhere.
Now, here's a play that I actually don't agree with from Tom. He put himself in a position where reversal really does hurt him a lot.
Mm-hmm.
He not only evolved to the Typhlosion, which is great, but at that point he used the Afterburner to be able to attach the energy to the Reshiram, but leaving no energies in his discard pile. And he obviously doesn't have any energies in his hand. So
and what do you know?
Yeah, there you go. Go figure. Yeah, that's exactly what I was about to say. Is long story short, your opponent activates your Typhlosion, you have no way to really retreat it. So yeah, maybe he got a little bit carried away. Maybe, I mean, I'm sure he realizes it now, but it's a common mistake even professional players make.
Right. So
However,
there's a Sage.
There's a Sage.
I don't see any fire in that top 5.
Yeah, neither did I.
So, like I was saying, there's no fire.
Oh, there is one fire. No? Yeah, there is.
Well, even one fire is not gonna do a whole lot of good. I mean, he can roast reveal for 3.
Yep.
But he has to draw that second one, otherwise he'll never be able to retreat. And this will give Josh a lot of time just to get something going, and, well, got another Typhlosion and a Quilava, so if Tom ever gets that energy, he'll be just fine. But until then, uh-oh. He's stuck.
Yeah, and he did it again.
No, I don't agree with that afterburner.
Yeah,
do you
did it
think
again.
that's the right thing? Because I would actually just leave the fire in the discard, wouldn't you?
Yeah, that's actually exactly what I meant when I say he did it again.
Yeah.
He, again, if your opponent now does a reversal again, your Typhlosion is going to be stuck up there, and that's the least of your issues. You have so many afterburners now from this point out, and your Restaurant already has 2 fire energies attached. You don't have to worry about these things. You can just leave those fires in the discard and make sure you don't get locked, because obviously you're on a time limit, so got to play accordingly.
So we do see Josh getting a Magnezone into play and a Yanma, so he's going to start getting some momentum. He might be able to take prize in a few turns, and then we have a Judge, so if Tom continues to draw no energy, then Josh is allowed to build up energy on his field. He could take the first prize, and maybe if Tom doesn't have a double plus power to respond to Magnezone, we could see Josh winning this game.
Yeah. Now, even though Tom did make a couple of small errors, he has a great board, and he's got a huge advantage over Josh when you take it in a vacuum. You see Josh will have 6 prizes, both players have 6 prizes, but you don't see really anything other than the Magnezone and 1 energy in play for Josh. And on Tom's side of the field, you see a Quilava, a couple Typhlosions, a Ninetales, and a couple Reshiroms, 1 with 2 fires on it. So Tom's set as long as he gets fires, and Josh still isn't.
Here's reversal, so here's this situation again.
Tails, though. He gets spelled out.
So, a little fortunate for Tom, but
yeah,
poor
goes
Hobbit.
Hoppin. It doesn't like Josh's situation very much. It understands Josh's game state.
Yeah, pretty good description of what's going on Josh's side. But, again, it's a fragile spot. If it really hinges on 1 energy. If Tom can get 1 energy, he'll start exploding and taking prizes. If he
Tom's looking at the discard pile. Yeah, he's going like, man, really? No fires? None?
If Tom
Maybe
doesn't get a fire, he's stuck. And
he's not going to get a fire.
With time so low, Josh could squeak out kind of a cheap win. So we'll have to see how it plays out.
Yeah, he has Collector instead of a Sage or a Juniper, so at this point he's just trying to thin his deck out, maybe get a Junk Arm. I don't know if he has a Junk Arm in his hand, but geez. Obviously with no fires, he's not at the greatest spots. And even even a Junk Arm doesn't do him any good because there's no fires in the discard.
Yeah. So he's probably regretting using Afterburner at this point. Because if he had a Junk Arm, he could use it to get a Retrieval, maybe Roast Reveal, but there's no options for him, so he's going to have to pass. But fortunately, Josh's Cleffa stays asleep.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, let's be honest. Tom's mistake ended up costing him quite a bit right now. But luckily for him, the Clef is still asleep, so Josh isn't going to be able to take the advantage of this that he would like. And we still only see 1 energy in play for Josh. Hopefully we'll see a second, and there it is.
Yeah, now, we can be critical of these players all we want, but we're sitting back and we're just watching this game from a distance. You have to realize these guys are at the World Championships playing for a lot. This is probably one of the most pressure-filled situations you could be in, so they're probably not thinking with a straight head. They're just kind of nervous, so you can't blame somebody for making a mistake here. They're doing the best they can under the situation. So whoever is able to pull it out, props to them, because this is tough.
Yeah, not everyone can be the greatest theoretical mind in the game, in the history of the game.
Even if you do have the greatest theoretical mind in the game, at this point, you're rushed. There's a lot of pressure on you. There's not a lot of time left, so you don't have... you're not in a great circumstance to maybe think out your turn. And we see Josh...
And in Josh's case, he keeps flipping tails.
Yeah.
That Clef is one lazy Pokemon.
Yep.
And, yeah, he's still asleep at the beginning of his turn. Now, it's interesting to say that Tom immediately drew and passed because obviously he didn't draw the fire. And second, he understands that time's slow. So he's not going to mess around here.
If I'm Tom here, I have to be extremely frustrated because look at my board. I have everything I ever need in this game. I'm never going to need another evolution probably. Everything is completely set up for me to win this game, except for one measly fire energy. If I would have gotten that, this game is not even close. But now I have to sit here and just stare as my opponent can come back. Like, how frustrating is that with so much on the line?
So, yeah, you're absolutely right, obviously. But if Josh does get a switch here, does he just go for the knockout on the Typhlosion and sacrifice all of his energies?
Well, he's got to get a knockout one way or the other. That's the name of the game. They both know time's winding down. So, yeah, I'd say why not? Take out the Typhlosion. Maybe, now he's got that Kingdra out, so he can Spray Splash. Set up for a knockout with a reversal, maybe? Who knows, but there's no switch.
He didn't Spray Splash this turn, by the way, I don't believe.
Doesn't look like it. So that's a mistake. That's obviously one that's from being under the